Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive edition of Talk Show Tensions, where we dive deep into the world of celebrity interviews gone catastrophically wrong. Today, we're unraveling the jaw-dropping incident that sent shockwaves through the British morning TV landscape. The infamous clash between the legendary Sir Anthony Hopkins and the ever-energetic host of ITV's Lorraine Kelly. It was a Tuesday morning, October 15, 2025, in the bustling studios of London, where the air was thick with the aroma of fresh coffee and the hum of live production. Hopkins, at 88 years young, was there to promote his latest cinematic masterpiece, a riveting psychological thriller titled Shadows of the Mind, directed by the up-and-coming auteur Elena Vasquez. The film, which had already garnered buzz at the Toronto International Film Festival for its haunting portrayal of dementia and fractured psyches, promised to be Hopkins' most introspective work since his Oscar-winning turn in The Father. Little did the producers know, this promotional spot would devolve into a verbal battlefield, leaving audiences glued to their screens in a mix of horror and morbid fascination. As the cameras rolled at precisely 9:05 a.m., Lorraine Kelly, with her signature warm Scottish lilt and impeccably coiffed blonde bob, greeted Hopkins with the enthusiasm of a fan meeting her idol. "Sir Anthony, what an absolute honor. You've terrified us, delighted us, and now you're back to mess with our heads again. Tell us, how did you channel such raw vulnerability into this role?" Her question hung in the air like a gentle invitation, the studio lights casting a golden glow on the plush velvet chairs arranged in their semicircle formation. Hopkins, dressed in a tailored navy suit that accentuated his still imposing frame, adjusted his glasses with a deliberate slowness, his piercing blue eyes scanning the set as if assessing an adversary. The studio clock ticked mercilessly toward the commercial break, but the momentum of the interview had already careened into uncharted territory, with Lorraine Kelly unwittingly steering her guest toward a precipice of personal indignation. Sir Anthony Hopkins, whose career spanned over 7 decades, from his electrifying debut in The Lion in Winter, alongside Katharine Hepburn to his chilling embodiment of dyspeptic presidents in Thor: Ragnarok, was no stranger to probing journalists. Yet this morning, in the fluorescent-lit confines of the Lorraine set, adorned with autumnal floral arrangements and sponsored mugs emblazoned with herbal tea logos, he found himself cornered by a question that struck at the heart of his artistic sovereignty. A reboot? Clarice and Lecter dancing again? That's not evolution, my dear. That's necrophilia for the box office, Hopkins retorted, his Welsh accent sharpening like a whetted blade. The audience gasped, a ripple of unease spreading through the rows of seated fans, some clutching their complimentary tote bags from previous episodes featuring baking segments and fashion hauls. Kelly, undeterred and perhaps mistaking his barb for theatrical flair, leaned in with a conspiratorial wink, her pearl earrings catching the light like tiny beacons of persistence. Ouch! But come now, Anthony, Hollywood loves a revival. Imagine you, at 88, schooling a new generation on terror. Wouldn't that be your ultimate legacy punch? Her words, delivered with the breezy confidence of a host who's navigated everything from royal scandals to diet fads, landed like a misfired cannonball. Hopkins' eyes narrowed, the lines etched around them deepening into canyons of barely contained ire. He straightened in his chair, the fabric of his suit whispering against the upholstery, and unleashed a response that would later go viral across social media platforms, dissected by pundits from BBC Breakfast to TMZ. With the interview teetering on the brink of salvage, Lorraine Kelly adroitly steered the dialogue toward the technical wizardry of Shadows of the Mind, hoping to douse the flames of discord with praises of production prowess. The massive screen behind them flickered to life once more, showcasing a montage of behind-the-scenes footage. Hopkins in a fog machine-choked set, his silhouette etched against green screen backdrops, murmuring lines to an invisible tormentor. Hans Zimmer's composition is sublime, isn't it? Those cello undertones. Pure chills, Kelly enthused, her voice regaining its melodic cadence, the audience nodding in fervent agreement, their earlier tension easing into appreciative murmurs. Sir Anthony Hopkins, however, remained a statue of simmering restraint, his fingers interlaced like iron links, betraying no hint of thaw. He nodded curtly, offering a perfunctory, Indeed, Zimmer captures the abyss. But his delivery carried the weight of obligation rather than enthusiasm. The set, with its array of potted ferns and framed photos of past guests beaming in camaraderie, suddenly felt claustrophobic, a stage for unspoken grievances. As the clip ended, applause rippled through the crowd. A diverse tapestry of locals in cardigans and tourists clutching programs. Kelly seized the moment to inject levity. "Anthony, you've worked with the best. Spielberg, Nolan, now Vasquez. Any diva stories? Spill the tea. Who's the real method-acting maniac?" It was a classic Kelly maneuver, her trademark blend of flattery and friskiness, designed to humanize icons and elicit laughs. But to Hopkins, whose collaborations had forged legends, from the epic sweeps of Amistad to the intimate dread of The Remains of the Day, this query smacked of sensationalism, reducing decades of disciplined artistry to tabloid fodder. His response was a thunderclap in the quiet studio. "Diva stories? Is that what passes for discourse here? I've no time for such puerile prattle." The studio's atmosphere had transformed from welcoming warmth to a pressure cooker on the verge of explosion, with Sir Anthony Hopkins' chair now angled as if poised for flight, his posture a defiant silhouette against the kaleidoscope of sponsor banners fluttering in the recycled air. Lorraine Kelly, her script clutched like a talisman, desperately scanned for an exit ramp, her mind racing through contingency protocols drilled in crisis simulations. Deflect, humanize, commercial break. But Hopkins, fueled by a lifetime of guarded revelations, from his Welsh Valley's upbringing marked by a distant father and a mother's quiet endurance to the AA meetings that anchored his sobriety since 1975, saw no such off-ramp. Choice? This was never a choice. It was a trap baited with flattery, he thundered, his voice booming through the monitors, startling a sound technician into fumbling his coffee. The audience, a microcosm of Britain's eclectic viewer base. Grandmas in floral prints, millennials in athleisure, a smattering of school kids on inset days, froze in rapt horror, their expressions a mosaic of schadenfreude and sympathy. Kelly, drawing on reserves honed from interviewing everyone from Boris Johnson to Beyoncé, mustered a diplomatic pivot. "Trap? Anthony, we're just chatting, celebrating your brilliance. Shadows is Oscar-bound. Let's focus there." Her appeal, sincere in its intent, clanged against the actor's resolve like a spoon on steel. He scoffed, a guttural sound redolent of Lecter's disdain, rising fully now to his 5 feet 10 inches stature, which seemed to swell under the weight of indignation. "Celebrating? Your celebration reeks of shattered exploitation." A toppled water glass glinting under footlights, audience members exchanging wide-eyed glances as if survivors of a mild earthquake. Lorraine Kelly stood center stage, her smile a brittle veneer over churning turmoil, waving weakly to quell the rising din of speculation. "Folks, what can I say? Passion runs deep with our guests. We'll be right back after this," she ad-libbied, her voice a lifeline tossed to producers scrambling for filler footage. Perhaps a quick bake-off clip or weather loop, but the damage cascaded instantaneously, screens across the nation flickering with breaking news tickers. Hopkins storms off Lorraine's set in Raging Row, as live blogs from The Sun to The Guardian ignited with eyewitness accounts. Hopkins, vanishing into the labyrinthine corridors backstage, rebuffed his publicist's frantic entreaties, barking, "Leave me be. I've no autopsy for that inanity." Emerging into the crisp October drizzle of London's South Bank, he hailed a black cab with the brisk efficiency of a man escaping Waterloo, the vehicle's door slamming a second punctuation to the morning's melee. Inside, as rain pattered the roof like accusatory fingers, Hopkins exhaled, the adrenaline ebbing into a profound weariness, his mind replaying the skirmish in stark relief. Kelly's probing eyes, the audience's voyeuristic hush, his own words as weapons unholstered too hastily. Back in the studio, Kelly slumped into her chair during the break, makeup artists dabbing at smudged liner while executives descended like harpies. "What the hell happened?" demanded the head of daytime programming, a besuited bulldog named Marcus Hale, his tablet ablaze with incoming complaints and kudos in equal measure.